Welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Bargman. A few years ago, I wrote and performed a solo show called The Edge of Every Day, which was an exploration of the rough edges and contradictions we all face and grapple with. The show hit a nerve, and the relevance of the topic would only grow over time more than I could have foreseen. So, here we are. Real talk with real people, sharing stories and perspectives that spark provocative invitations to leap out of what's safe, on the edge of every day. Thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. We are live in the hive. Thank you for joining me on this, the 34th episode of The Edge of Every Day here on talkradio.nyc. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, and for those of you who don't know me yet, I encourage you to check out my bio on talkradio.nyc, or of course, you can visit my website, sandrabargman.com. And please tune in to any of my previous episodes with my inspiring guests. In a nutshell, this show is about celebrating triumphs, pushing boundaries, and exploring rough edges. Through conversations and shared stories with friends and colleagues, it's my hope that we can begin to understand our edges. And what I mean by edges is those places where we are fearful, those places where we're resistant to change, those places where paradoxes and contradictions live in our beliefs and our understandings, both about ourselves and about the world around us. Those places where we don't want to look. Listen, we live in turbulent times, and we are coming to understand that life isn't just black or white. It must be an embrace of both. And the more we recognize our own edges and get real about them, the more we can help others to do the same. And that, I fully believe, can help to change the world. So thanks again for tuning in. And without further ado, it is time to introduce our guest this evening. Dr. Benita Zahn is a certified health and wellness coach working with clients at Capital Cardiology Associates. Benita spent more than 40 years as a health reporter and news anchor at WNYT in Albany, New York. She covered issues such as wellness, treatment breakthroughs, aging, nutrition, and the latest healthcare trends. Benita's work has taken her around the world and across the USA. She's covered the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, the inauguration of President Obama, and both Republican and national conventions. Benita is a contributor to the weekly Live Smart page in the Times-Union, the HMRRC, Hudson Mohawk Roadrunners Club, Pace Setter, and the new magazine 55 Plus Living. Benita also created and co-hosts the podcast Everything Theater. Benita earned her master's and doctorate in bioethics at the Alden March Bioethics Institute at Albany Medical College. She earned her CHWC from the prestigious Well Coaches School of Coaching. She is a proud member of Actors Equity Association and performs with the Singing Anchors. Benita has won numerous awards for her work, including a New York Emmy, International Radio and Television Award, NYS Broadcasters Award, and has been honored by numerous health organizations. It is a great pleasure to say hello and welcome Benita Zahn.
Hello, Sandy, and everybody who's listening tonight. And what a treat it is for me.
Oh my God, I've been so excited for you to be here. I have had a long-standing fangirl crush on Benita Zahn.
And it's mutual, me to you, my sister.
Yeah, baby. So I love. Well, thank you again for coming on. I'm going to say that a million times. I'm just so thrilled that we're spending this hour together. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to share, as I love to do with our listeners, how I know my guests. And Benita, you and I have known each other for 20, 29 years.
Holy
19. I know. How do we do anything for
you? Were doing bird calls. There you go.
Oh my God. I love that you remember that. Oh my Lord. So sorry, folks. We might get into this a few times. Just our own little glory. So we did, I had to do an exotic bird call at my audition for this, for Stephen Earle Edwards, literally. And it was sort of the thing, if I got asked to do an exotic, because it was on my special skills, if I got asked to do it, it was like a good luck, like you're going to get this gig. And Stephen Earle did it. So I had literally just moved 4 days prior to Albany from New York City via Los Angeles, moved in with then boyfriend on a nature preserve just outside of Albany. 4 days later, I auditioned for Kiss Me Kate at Park Playhouse, our beloved Park Playhouse. And we did Kiss Me Kate together. And you were...
I played Hattie. I had that opening number, another opening, another show. And I split the role, actually, because my schedule as a reporter anchor was so crazy. So they cast another incredibly talented woman to split the role with me. I did the weekends. I did, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. And if I had the opportunity, I would jump in just to the chorus during the week if life wasn't too crazy. She's a much better singer than me. But I could do something she couldn't do. I could jump up on the piano. I had a bruise on my leg from hitting that piano that took me into November.
Oh my Lord. What we did for love.
Right? And you were just, if people don't know Sandy, I just have to tell you, and she's sitting, so if you see her, actually her legs come up just below her neck. So, if all this was going to work out, showgirl, Vegas girl, you got the legs for it.
Oh, my Lord.
Talent. And it was, sometimes you have an opportunity in life where lightning strikes and you are able to enjoy and share and experience and create with people who then go on to spend some part of your life with you, even beyond that. And Truly. That was one of those experiences.
Oh, my Lord, yes. I mean, to have
Tim Nelson, who you
Tim Nelson, a lifelong friend, a stage husband for life. He and I went on.
You resurrected that marriage. Just a few years ago.
We resurrected that marriage just at same said Park Playhouse. It was a great entrance into that community for me. And certainly meeting you was one of the highlights I made.
Sandy, you didn't know this was really going to be an episode of This Is Your Life, Sandra Bargman.
No, I would expect nothing else. In fact, I almost told you, Benita, I want you to ask me questions too. That's the kind of conversation I want to have with you. Yeah, totally great. So you, was that, I don't know, I know that you have an extraordinary relationship with Park Playhouse through the last.
I am now the board president and have been, this is, I think, my second term. And I love it because it's the creative process from a different perspective. I was also president during the time. And for people who don't live in the capital region, Park Playhouse had only been an outdoor summer theater company, may have been, in terms of seating, the largest on the East Coast. I think it is and continues to be. But it started evolving. And there's a wonderful
it should program, have been.
Right? And Park Playhouse too. And the kids who are doing the main stage production is Head Over Heels going on right now. If you get to the Albany area, please treat yourself. You can come and sit and watch it for free. It is free theater. Of course, there are paid seats, and we'd love it if you put some money in the bucket.
Go. Plug.
Right. But I want to say the numbers 14 of the cast members all came up through the Park Playhouse Kids program.
That's
and
these young folks
It's amazing. So
they're very loyal.
And I'm going to toot the BZ horn, which I'm not really good at, as I was listening to the
please.
intro.
Go
Since
for
when
it.
I spoke, I am now a member of SAG-AFTRA.
Excellent.
And I also passed my national boards for health coaching.
I saw that on, yay.
The ink is barely dry. And they spelled my name with a small b and a capital Z. And I thought that was kind of funny until
BZ.
BZ. So one of the guys were at Capital.
We all want a BZ.
Said something. I said, all right, I'll get him to do it. But yeah, so
that's fabulous.
Walking through doors, right? We're going to talk.
We are walking. Well, and that's that's both of our platforms. The door opens, walk through it, and always reinventing, always trying something new. This is one of the many things I adore about you. You are the quintessential multi-hyphenate, as they're saying in the youngster world and the hipster world, that your zest for life. There's not a lot of people that I can say have a zest for life that combine passions and interests and skills and continue to grow in their knowledge, in their wisdom, but it remains still a passion. And you've been able to weave your professional life with your personal life, with your passions for health and fitness and performing and storytelling in such a way that has created an extraordinary tapestry.
Well,
and inspires
that's what I see
many. Thank you. And and it's what you teach. It's what I try to teach. It's what we try to impart, this wholeness of life. And I know it's what you bring to your coaching, and congratulations again. And we're going to get into your coaching in a bit.
I'm going to jump in. It's funny you said about sharing and teaching. If only there was, and I'll say this to clients, if only I had fairy dust that I could, sprinkle. But I think, Sandy, the fairy dust is us bringing ourselves and being present. And
Amen.
That speaks to the edge of every day, because that is
the edge.
A fearful, fearsome, fear-inducing experience.
Indeed. There is no greater explanation of the edge, is to be at that place and choose to step through the fear into the next expansive experience.
In coaching, coaches philosophy, that would be a growth edge.
Oh, I love it. They use edge.
Yeah.
Of course they do. Everything is about the edge of every day. It's the edge of every day in coaching everywhere. Well, we've got 2 minutes to break, so I quickly want to express to everyone, I don't know that we'll get into too much with it, because then I want to move on to your coaching, but I want to mention your podcast, Everything Theater. I just listened to it, and it's so fantastic. Of course you're wonderful, but it's no surprise. Here's my shock face. But I love the whole idea of it, and I love how it serves the community and lifts up the community and gets the word out, and people, because so many times people learn about things later after they're closed. And so this is a great thing.
And we're having a great time with it. It was born out of a show. I was doing Shakespeare in Love at Capital Rep. And one of my fellow actors, Ellen Cribbs, who's my co-host, we were chatting. And it was one of those, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. I'm thinking about doing a podcast. Great.
We're all podcasters.
Right. Let's do a podcast, and let us be podcasters. We'll marry our money together. And we bought equipment. And then, of course, the world closed down. So we had to go to Zoom. We used to go out live and do this. And it's great fun. But what this afforded us, you've got to find the silver lining, is that we're now able to talk to theaters, actors, in front of the, house, behind the house, all over the country.
Yeah. Amen. Exactly.
So it's really and so many of them. I think you can't really tell in the background. There's a tail that's waving. My dog has shown up.
Aw, adorable.
Just a little bit of the.
She's excited and she wants a break. We need a break. We're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into Benita Zahn's illustrious career as a journalist and a health reporter. When we come back on the Edge of Every Day with Benita Zahn. Stay tuned.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Chipping around, kick my brain to the ground. These are the days it never rains. But it pours on the edge of every day.
And we are back with Benita Zahn. So I thought of you last week. I was telling a story and it made me think of you and my excitement about our upcoming conversation. I'm fascinated with the edge of journalism and communication and communications and theater work, performing work, acting work. And so the story I was telling was that when I was in seminary, it was right before I was going to seminary, I was at a dinner party. It was not people that I knew well. It was work colleagues of my husband. And I shared that I was going to seminary to become an interfaith minister. And they knew that I was an actor. And there was this long pause and this incredulity, that an inability to kind of connect the dots between being an actor and a spiritual leader or a spiritual seeker or someone stepping out of the proverbial spiritual closet in a big way. And I was like, and they said as much, and it was a little crushing. But I always see it as very simple to connect those dots. What's at the heart of the creative journey and what's at the heart of the spiritual journey is know thyself. The Greek maxim, know thyself, and storytelling. So I was telling that story just recently again, and I thought of you with the edge of communications, your journalism and your work in that field combined with your work in acting and performing. And I can imagine that you've been asked that kind of question yourself.
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
And dunned for it too. So at the heart
gun
of it,
for it. Exactly. Gun for it. Like, yeah.
Because, as you pointed out, at the heart of all this is the storytelling, which pared down is communicating. and communicating as effectively as possible. So
intentionally.
Yes.
Like any actor, like any storyteller, like anyone that wants to change the world, like any coach, like.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the essence and the truth.
Yeah, totally.
But what's that from Jack Nicholson says in the movie, I'm trying to think the name of the movie, you can't handle the truth. Well,
and it's fascinating to gun for it. It's fascinating to be so excited about the superficial and the lack of depth and desire to see the intention and the true impulse behind acting is storytelling in service to humanity.
Well said.
And yeah, I mean, sure.
But if someone didn't like a story I was doing, clearly my eyebrows were the wrong color or too bushy or they mmoved too much.
Oh, she's trying to be an actor too.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting. So to comment on that, how has doing both of them together in your life, how has that served you? How have the two served each other, potentially professionally? And how does the two of them together weave together and serve your heart?
I think that they always reinforce the truth and truth telling.
Amen.
And it forces you to sit back and not be crushed. I've often said, and I don't know if it's a woman thing, that if you bring a front loader of praise to my doorstep, I'm like, okay, but if you throw one rock, I'm crushed. And I really had to work through that because, when you're on stage, the critics, everybody's got a comment. And someone much older and wiser than me once said, if you believe the good reviews, that means you are giving them credit for knowing something about theater. So if you get a bad review, well, you've already given them credit for knowing something about theater. So I think that and there was a time before Instagram and all that where we had someone who used to write nasty grams, if you will, and mail them to the station.
Wow.
Someone took the
There's
time.
Some good use of some creative energy.
Right, to be so awful.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. They're being awful. And it really makes you sit back and be as understanding of the human situation. I'll be kind. I'll call it situation. But you really have to toughen up too. And you have to find your center. Because if you're coming from a place of truth, you've got to let that out. And you can't be going, okay, so this one said I should do this. And that one says.
Absolutely.
And then you're never you. And there's your moment. My grandfather used to tell stories. And the last story he told breaks down like this. There's a man taking an ox to market with his grandson, and they're walking, and somebody says, old man, why are you walking? You've got the ox, you should ride. And this goes on. Somebody says, why are you riding? The kid should ride. Why are you both riding? Why are you both riding? You're going to kill the ox. The moral of the story is, do what you believe is right, because everyone is going to have an opinion.
Everyone. Absolutely.
Last story he ever told. And I had to weave that into my life as a journalist and as an actor. And they're not the same.
Now as a coach.
And now as a coach. But the essence is honesty.
Yeah. And knowing yourself. And knowing, because you can't tell your truth without deeply knowing yourself.
Yes, and that's hard work.
It's the spiritual journey.
Yes.
It's the creative journey. But there's no other work to be done at the end of the day. Someone as curious as you, there's no other work to do.
Right. People come and they, oh, I've lost weight 20 times, I can't keep it off. Well, share with me, what is the roadblock? I get bored. So we have to explore why someone gets bored with their well-being. And that's multifaceted. There are so many layers to that. You're really not bored with staying healthy. It's so much more than that.
Yes, truly. It's so much more. So,
and that's where the wonderful work happens.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, and the digging into the like I say, in the beliefs and the understandings, the edge of our understandings, the contradictions that we may feel, you know, I think I'm a curious person. Why am I bored right now? What do I need to take a look at and change to unlock that door so I can walk through it again?
Right.
I'm just using all our metaphors.
That, right, women don't think that, and it's not really boredom. That's not it. When you push it, it's that women don't feel they're entitled. Women feel they are selfish when they provide self-care.
Ooh, well, yeah, we are getting into, I wanted to get into what have you discovered about women in your coaching in terms of, you know, what their health issues are. But I want to back up because I want to talk about bioethics because it tells the holistic story. And that's what we're talking about here. So you have this incredible career. You're back and forth between your health reporting and your anchoring, and you're all in different time slots and growing and learning. And you've moved from Syracuse to Albany, and your career is taking off. So how do you step into bioethics? When did you discover that? What was the impulse for that? And what is bioethics for our listeners? Because I did a deep dive and I was like, yeah.
There's two underpinnings to bioethics, but really to me, the biggest one is autonomy.
Yeah, totally.
It's, and be empowering, giving the space for empowerment, and that empowerment for people to drive their own bus. You know, so much of medicine was patriarchal.
Oh my God. And this is so collaborative. Yeah.
Right.
And turning our doctors into some sort of gods, like our priests. No.
Do we have 2 hours?
Our own advocates. Yes.
That's right. But then you need to be empowered to do that. And if you're in the hospital setting and things have really gone sideways, you can ask if they have an ethics consult service. And the ethicist will come up, and they're paid by the hospital, but they're not working for the hospital. They are there for you. Yes. They become the non-judgmental hearing group.
So how did go ahead. No, so how did you step into this to support your journalism?
You know, it's
you've got 2 minutes to break.
Okay, it's almost embarrassing, but I was looking seriously. I thought I would go to get my master's in nutrition, and it was not an online program. And this came into my inbox, and I went. I had one of those grandfather hat.
Boom.
You know, Betty Boop. You know, I went, whoa! This I think speaks to me.
The universe.
Turned out, and it did. And the program was going through some tumultuous times. But after I finished, then they applied to the state for the doctoral program. And I was one of 2 people in the first graduating class, both women. One of them is now, I believe, still running the ethics program at Cleveland Clinic.
Oh my, this is so
and I married television with it because my master's program was looking at the effectiveness of using television to convey a message for advanced directives in healthcare proxy acceptance.
Unbelievable.
I have a real boring.
So I would, yes, you do. Yeah, that's clear. And I got to watch, before we jump off, it made me think of, I just jumped back to watch your passion when that brief amount of time, those 4 years I lived in Albany, and I would watch you on the news and I just loved your passion for health. I loved all that you did, but I loved your passion for health. and how you were able to impart that information, and in such a way that was clear, and made it accessible. And so to go to get your master's, to go to get your doctorate, to expand that understanding into a even more expansive, holistic understanding, I'm sure only served all of your reporting.
Thank you. It did. It changed how I approached a story and how I shared it.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's the perfect place for us to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about Benita's coaching and her ongoing health work, and maybe we'll get a little bit more in about her theater life when we come back with Benita Zahn on the Edge of Every Day. Stay tuned.
Howdy, I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who will expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law, business law attorney, and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Chipping around, kick my brain to the ground. These are the days it never rained, but it pours
on the edge of every day, and we are back with Benita Zahn. But before we get into the things that I said we're going to get into, this is a question I really want to ask, is how has the landscape of media shifted throughout your journey as a journalist, as an anchor, as a health reporter? How has the landscape of how media is put out and how it's consumed, how has that shifted? What is your opinion? And how has it changed your relationship with the work? And maybe even, how did it affect your choice in becoming a coach? I know there's a lot of questions in there.
They can see. It's been cataclysmic change. Probably 15 years ago at this point, I was teaching at a local college, journalism course. And it was on interview skills, and I assigned the class to listen to the State of the Union, and half of them had no idea. No idea what a State of the Union was. They had never listened to it. These are not, back number kids. And they were like, I have to watch it in real time because I'm going to pick up my phone, because this is, the phone, this is where they get everything right there. At their time, they control the world. They control the access
how the
to
world
media.
Affects them in their minds.
Right. And I'm like, have to watch it.
That would be the assignment. Uh-huh.
Right. And I was able to use Zoom. It was Skype.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Skype to get a guest from out of the area for them to interview. So that's 15 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago, I was doing an event. Let's see, I'm out of 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's only 4 years ago. I was doing a fundraiser at a local tavern, and let's say there were 100 people and 50-50, but they were all mostly young folks. And one of the young women was really pretty snotty. I got to say, well, I don't want you, are you, where are you? Because somebody made a comment, this is Benita from Channel 13. And that's when I think she was embarrassed that she didn't know who I was. And I'm pleased, I'm not.
Yeah, I know, you're not that way.
She flipped it a point. She goes, this is the only place I get my news, waving her phone at me. So, okay, I don't care how old you are, just be nice. I got to be nice thing. But again, so 15 years ago, I came back to the newsroom and I said, kids, the box, it doesn't matter who's there. That's the end. The world's done. It's in the little thing. Oh, we're still making some money. That's what it comes down to, Sandy. Yeah. So I come back, 4 or 5 years ago, I go, kids, really, here, we've got to be looking differently here. Oh, it's changed tremendously and irrevocably. There was a time where there was so much money coming in, and money, it's coming down to money, where media management stood under the tree and said, I don't have to grab those singles. Oh, heck with the 5s. I got so many big bills coming. Then things started changing and they had to pick up those smaller bills. Then they had to start shaking the tree. Now they got to wrap their arms around the tree to get money, and they're not happy about it. So there's a few things happening. The finances have changed dramatically. The work to make your money has changed dramatically. Trying to figure out how to monetize this has changed dramatically. And there was a time, I'm that old, where mainstream media was ABC, NBC, CBS. CNN was just coming in. There was something SNN, Satellite News Network, first. Mm-hmm. And then we had CNN. And now everybody with a cell phone thinks they're a journalist.
Right.
You're not. Because in journalism, true journalism, and please don't talk to me about what you're watching, on MSNBC and a lot of the shows there, and particularly Fox. These are commentators. They are paid to share their opinion. I was paid to not give you my opinion.
A true journalist.
Right. And understand, we all come with a perspective. I am the firstborn in an ethnic household with 2 younger brothers. My life experience will be different than someone who is the youngest female in a house that is not particularly ethnic. It's different than the men in my family. So how has it changed? Tremendously. The delivery of it, the financial.
Well, it's the finances that drive that delivery and that opinion, and even the desire for opinion. So, and did you see it just speed up in like 2015 and all of that? And now, it's just.
Yep.
The way it's consumed, the way it's just feels like it's not journalism. It is opinion, and it's for clickbait.
Yeah, and by the by,
and money.
The best part of your
because that's money.
Did that change? So yes. So for the last 5 years, I had been thinking about leaving journalism. I did.
Okay.
I still had stories to tell. I loved it, and had it not been for the pandemic, I might still be anchoring the news and reporting, but because I couldn't do theater, there it comes again. Yeah. I went back to school thinking it was going to help me as a reporter. And I had that epiphany, and I realized that's my reason for being. And in many ways, it's like being a health reporter only on steroids.
Oh, completely. It's complete. Well, and I've talked to so many women, men as well, but so many women during the pandemic. There was a collective call forward to step into a way to be present to the crossroads where we find ourselves in today's world in a way that hadn't been. And I see so many people saying, this is who I am. Now is the, and they had to really grapple and listen and go internal during the pandemic and to get to that. And so I love that you discovered this and, steroids, coaching on steroids. So yeah, you had to admit that it was time to change, step out and go in another direction and embrace that. But you're still health reporting. You're still serving humanity. You're still telling stories. You're still uplifting and educating and sparkle dust. So where are you working now? Tell us about where you have planted your coaching practice.
As you mentioned, I'm at Capital Cardiology, one of the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest, it's a big medical practice, cardiology practice in the Capital region. And when I started this work and studying, I reached out to one of the physicians who I had done work with before, during my reporting days. And I said, so I'm studying this, and would you ever, before I finished my pitch, he said, when can you start?
Of course she did.
That was February. Okay,
oh
February
Lord.
of 2021, I gave my notice in May. What I didn't know is, as a medical practice, Sandy, they see that things are changing. Yeah. So they were crafting a wellness center within their practice. And I believe I was the first hire. So I get hired, then they bring on a bariatric surgeon and his support staff. They add another nutritionist. They've added an exercise physiologist. They added a social worker. And they've now they bought into the Pritikin intensive cardiac rehab program.
So they have a stable of practitioners that is very holistic.
Right. And once a month, one of the classes participants have to take deals with mind-body. So either I teach that or the social worker does.
Do you facilitate with the clients working with all these practitioners? I mean, I would think that you would sort of be the conduit.
Well, that's
as
what
a
I would
coach.
Think. Yeah, but they need to be, they get sent to me, they get suggested to see me. And I bring in clients who are not patients at the practice. Right now, insurance is not paying. Always comes down to the almighty buck. There are some HSAs will cover it. So there are HSAs, some of the insurers, and I've been working with local insurers, there are wellness dollars that you can utilize to cover. And we're not expensive. And there's some research out. The sweet spot is to come every 3 to 4 weeks for 6 to 7 sessions. I don't want to see you forever.
Well, and a good coach knows that. Like a good therapist should know that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't go down that rabbit hole. But
I had one client and I said to her, so where are we going? And I worry about her. She's got many health issues and she's really, moving things and driving her bus much better. And I said, where are we going? I said, I really like talking to you. It's nice. I said, but I'll keep taking your money. But seriously, you need to think about, where are you going?
Yeah. Do you, in your client, we have 2 minutes to break. In your clientele, do you have a specific, I'm sure it's a spectrum of people, but has one group of people risen to the top in terms of the who you work with? Is it mostly women? Is it mostly older people? Is it, is it younger people, or is it a true spectrum of people?
Mostly women, but there are men. Mm-hmm. I joke women come in and often cry and men come in and bargain.
Oh, okay.
It's a different way we deal with life. And there were men who cried and there were women who bargained. But struck me, and that goes back to what we talked about, how women perceive their value and the okayedness of providing self-care. And they come because they know they need the care. Most of them are 50 plus.
Yeah.
Most of them are on a journey that involves weight loss and exercise.
And regaining what they've let go.
Yes. Yes. And
beliefs, all kinds of things.
Yes. And I say together we will rediscover your superpowers.
Yes. Amen. That's a perfect place for us to take a break. Benita Zahn, a glorious inspiration. You So when we come back, we are going to talk about Benita's leading edge. When we come back on the edge of every day. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Chipping around, kick my brain to the ground. These are the days it never rained, but it pours on the edge of every day.
And we are back with the glorious Benita Zahn. Okay, so what is that project, Ms. Zahn? What is that? Seriously, what is that project that is your leading edge, that speaks to your heart, speaks to something deep within you, that you keep finding a way to push it back on your timeline?
That's a good question. I don't know as I have an answer, and it might be more acting. I squeeze that in as much as that nurtures and fulfills me and excites and ignites me. But you know, I'm of an age where there's more behind me than in front of me. And I try to keep that in mind in a positive way to propel me, not to sit around. And I sometimes think, you're not 16 anymore, sister. You're not going to run a marathon. Listen, I never broke 5 hours, even in my heyday. Let's be clear. Something always came up in life. But I think that it's maintaining the excitement to get on the start line and believe you will get to the finish line of whatever activity you are signing on to do.
Well, amen for that. I couldn't agree with you more. In today's world,
stuff is scary. Let me be clear, and I've listened
and that's
to some
what I'm
of your
getting
shows.
at. Is
right?
what is scary right now?
What's scary
project
right now?
that is scary right now? And and to your point, you may, I'm just intuiting a book for you, but that I might be pulling that out of the ethers.
I should write a book. There's no question. You're right.
I mean, that's like a no-brainer. It's not like I'm madly
that's
psychic
okay.
on that one.
That's really it. It is. It's I keep walking around and go, I'll write it. I should. I know. I should. I gotta.
And maybe there is fear, and maybe there, or maybe there is, it's just a question at you as somebody who does this work with others. You will ask all the important and appropriate internal questions as to how that is birthed. But I don't know where I read this or heard this, because you know how I did my research on you, which was so much fun. And I was struck by it again. I went back over my notes from our pre-meeting and read it again somewhere about the loss of your mom very early on, and reading it again yesterday, and just was like a knife. And because I feel as though I lost my mom at 43, very young. And of course, that's not that young, but you much younger than that. And the idea that there might be some story in there, and the choice of, and we touched on maybe, how that might have influenced decision, or I say child-free, I never say childless, because I think that childless makes it feel like it's somehow a failure to not have kids. And as somebody who's chosen not to, like by choice, not to have children, I always want to empower people to I want to talk about the choice to not have children and what that means. So I don't know. Is there any
right? And that's also part of understanding that time waits for nobody.
Yeah.
When you see a parent die, and my mom was 48.
Unbelievable. And you were too.
I was 27 when she passed. And that's it. You're just starting to become friends. And I've thought many times, Sandy, to do a book, and I've talked about this, and there are books, but on the impact of motherless daughters.
Yeah.
It changed for me, as
powerful.
you were, intimating, it changed the trajectory of my life.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it would be fun to have children without her. Part of that, I always thought I would have kids.
Interesting.
And I think in retrospect, I know that I was somewhat depressed for very many years, but I had no one in my corner. So I got up and I got dressed and I went forward every day. And it is what it is. And I was successful.
Very. Well, this speaks volumes to your work. Is this the depth of the can-do spirit that you embody, and your willingness to step through and to ascertain the truth of that depression and how you might use that to inform how you move forward.
Mm-hmm. And it, in its own way, is empowering.
Indeed. Oh my goodness. I wish more people would talk about depression and grief as a means of, as an opportunity to move, to expand and to know thyself more deeply, and therefore you come to a place, circle back to a place of empowerment and joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the edge of every day. We do embody both of those at all times. And the older we get, the more we know that.
That's right. It's so well said.
Well, hopefully we'll get a book. But
well, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you, madam. So on to more fun things. Do you have anything on the horizon work-wise coming up? Some singing, some cabaret? Is there a show coming up?
So I'd love to do a little more singing. My old singing partner, he left Channel 13 and I left, and he and his wife both sing together. So he just made a fabulous sizzle reel with the wife. So I think I've been dumped.
How dare he?
I knew it was coming. And he did. He made a great sizzle reel. So yeah, wish them the best. And I have a feeling that'll be part of their second and third act going forward, which is really exciting to see. Booked to do a show in November with a company called Curtain Call. And I, having just been Fraulein Schneider back in November in Cabaret.
Right.
Right. And then I played Malin back to back in 2 productions in Steel Magnolias. I needed a comedy. And so this is a comedy. It's just a slice of life comedy called All the Days. And I wasn't familiar with it. I still don't. I've got to read the whole script. I love the folks that I'll be working with.
Terrific.
And Stephen Fletcher, who I played his wife. You know Steve Fletcher.
Of course.
We did
Guys and Dolls together at Park Playhouse.
Right. So he's directing. I think the last thing he did on stage, I played his wife in Hands on the Hard Body.
Oh, love it.
What a joy.
I love this. Give him a big fat hug.
Yeah, I will. And he's in it, and a couple of other folks. So that'll be, and you know what, Sandy, I don't have to drive far. I mean, it's it's like even a run. It's only a half marathon.
I love it.
So
okay, wonderful. So we can look for you at, again,
it'll be a curtain call in November. And so please, if you're in the area, book your tickets. Talking about theater and supporting it post-pandemic is a very big issue right now.
It's a very
talk about
huge
on the
issue.
edge.
Yeah.
Theater Barn, which is a local venerable theater in the capital region, on your way to Massachusetts, just wrapped up. It closed. They're not finishing their season.
Yeah, no, we must be supporting our theaters.
Yeah, because that's what makes us. That rounds all of us out. You don't have to be a theater kid. It's where humanity is portrayed
and uplifted.
Yeah.
So where do people find you if they want coaching?
The easiest. It's BenitaHealthCoach.com.
Oh, lovely. BenitaHealthCoach.com.
Right. And my email is BenitaHealthCoach@gmail.com.
Excellent. So, and you are all over social media, so people can find you on LinkedIn and Twitter. And
I also coach virtually.
Wonderful. Well, Benita.
So when are we performing together, my sister?
Let's do it.
We need to.
We need to have a chat about what we're doing. I would absolutely love that. Absolutely love that.
Love spending this time with you.
Thank you so much for coming on. You are just such a lovely, bright light and a dear soul, and I'm thrilled to have spent this time with you. Thank you for sharing your beauty, your wisdom, your talent, and your great spirit.
I feel so honored. The people you have on are just such beacons in this world. So bravo to you.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. And to our listeners, I thank you so much for spending this hour with us. Remember, never, never, never forget, you are always at the edge of the miraculous. Till we speak again next week, have a great week.
This is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves under pressure. Under pressure. Under pressure.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who will expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.